Hey guys, how's it going? This is Travis. I want to welcome you back to the channel. On this channel, we try a lot of national brand products, especially coffees and things like that. And these are, huge companies, huge corporations that have a lot of money. It's kind of a rough time right now for a lot of the little local mom and pop businesses, restaurants, stores, and stuff like that with just everything going on and people having to social distance and not be able to get out and shop like they used to. And so when it comes to coffee, I do try to support the local economy. I do like to try to support those little mom and pop coffee shops. And a couple months ago, I had an opportunity to try some Hardy Coffee Company Benchmark. And it says the table on here. And the reason why is that small businesses, restaurants can partner up with Hardy Coffee Company and they'll get their logo on the package when Hardy ships them the coffee. Now, as for the Hardy Coffee Company, there's 3 locations in Omaha, Nebraska. I want you guys to definitely check them out, especially if you're in the area. They not only do different types of coffee, but they also have different types of baked goods that they sell. You can buy their products online like a lot of places and so on. What's cool about places like Hardy Coffee Company is they really do go out of their way to find some of the best coffee they can. You're going to pay just a price that might be just a little bit more than what you might find from some of the more fancier national brands that are out there, like say Starbucks and so on. But you're also supporting the local economy, the small businesses, and getting a really high quality product in my opinion. And so today we're going to be sampling Benchmark whole bean coffee. Now Benchmark comes in a regular blend, a dark blend, and then also a decaf. What's interesting about this is that it can change the region that they get the coffee from as time goes on. So over the course of the year, you might buy a bag of Benchmark and that time period's roast could be Guatemalan or El Salvadorian, or it could be Colombian. You don't know exactly what you're going to get. So it can vary a little bit, which I think is really cool. And so anyway, we're going to try the Benchmark whole bean coffee. This is just the medium roast, the standard. And the origin of this is Guatemala and Nicaragua. And I don't know if it's a particular single origin or if it's a particular estancia, but that's the region the coffee comes from, which also gives it particular characteristics. And that Central American coffee typically has kind of a citrusy taste to it, slightly acidic, really, really good and not bitter on the back end. So we're going to brew some of this up. We'll talk about the scent, the flavor, and so on. Now, so I forgot to mention the first part of this video, but the table is a really cool, just a little locally owned coffee shop, cafe that's got really good food, and they've got an awesome drink menu. So check it out. If you're ever in Wayne, Nebraska, you find yourself up in northeast Nebraska, it's just in downtown Wayne, and they do serve the Hardy coffee, the Benchmark coffee. All right, so let's check out the smells and see how it is. Is it overly roasted? Does it smell burned? Does it smell kind of rich and tasty? Okay, it almost smells like a medium to medium dark, almost like a French roast. You can definitely, there's kind of that little bit of charred smell to it, but it's not burned, okay? It has kind of like a brothy, kind of tomato soupy kind of smell to it, which could indicate it's gonna be a rich cup of coffee. And there's kind of some notes of cocoa in there also. All right, let's go and check out the beans. Now, I do have to admit, this bag did come from December, so this is not the freshest bag, but I did receive it as a gift, and I'm just now drinking it in April. So obviously, you'd probably want to drink this a lot sooner, I'd say within probably the first month or so. I don't recommend freezing my coffee personally, just because I think the oils dry up in it if you do, but the beans have a nice, consistent, dark brown color to them. They don't look burned. I think they're going to be delicious. Let's go ahead and grind them up and get these brewing. Okay, and I like to use a coffee bean grinder. Whole beans, I think you get the best flavor out of the coffee if you go that route. Got about a half a cup of beans in here. You might want to just start off with maybe a quarter cup and do 2 batches. My general rule is basically 1 tablespoon of coffee per 6 to 8 ounces of fluid, of liquid. If I want a stronger cup of coffee, it'll be 1 tablespoon for 6 ounces. If I want a weaker cup of coffee, it'll be 1 tablespoon for 8 ounces. Now, if you have a roommate, or a spouse that's not a morning person, these make a lot of noise, so be prepared. You might want to grind this up the night before you go to bed. A common mistake that people make with this also is they don't grind their coffee up enough. A lot of people leave it really coarse, and that's not what you want. You want almost like a powder, but not super fine. If you have it too fine, it's going to back up your coffee machine. You don't want an espresso grind here or a super powdery grind, but you also want something that's finer than what you see right here. I also like to kind of move it around a little bit in the container that gets some of the chunks to fall down by the blades. Okay. We're going to go and finish grinding this up, and then we'll get it in the filter. Also, I like to rinse out my coffee filter with just some tap water, but I do use Brita purified drinking water in the actual tank itself when I brew the coffee up. Okay, so that is the kind of consistency that I try to shoot for. It's almost like a powder, like a drink mix powder, I guess you could say, but maybe just a smidge more coarse. Okay, that's what you want to try to go for. All right. Again, you want it nice and fine so you get as much flavor and caffeine out of that grind as you can. The smell of this stuff is amazing, by the way. Incredibly rich. If you've ever smelled fresh brewed Starbucks house blend, then you might have an idea as to what this stuff is like. I think it's going to be tasty, and hopefully be done here in just a few minutes. All right, here we go. Moment of truth. Smell. Smells sweet. Smells kind of chocolatey. There's that initial citrus burst, but it's not. It's interesting. It's kind of, if you've ever had an IPA before, it's kind of like that citrus that you get with a little bit of bitter on the back end. It's crisp. It's smooth. It's not bitter. It's hard to believe you're actually drinking coffee if you just had like a standard cup of Folgers and then had a cup of this. They taste like two completely different beverages. There's this definite kind of like fudgy, chocolatey taste on the back end too, almost like a melting chocolate. Those definite notes of cocoa are there. Now on the package it said spicy. It's almost not spicy like a Chile spicy, but there's just this definite kind of peppery flavor to it also, which makes it very unique and very delicious. This stuff is great. And the grapefruit is right there after you first take that first gulp. You really get that, like I said before, that citrus acidity to it. If you've ever had a grapefruit before, you know what I'm talking about. So it's very interesting and very characteristic of a lot of the coffees that come from this region. So this would be kind of a nice benchmark for you to start off with if you want to try to develop your palate for drinking coffee and trying to identify flavors and so on. Very good stuff. I love it. So please like and subscribe. You guys can check me out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Please support those small businesses. Drink lots of coffee. Have fun. Be safe. And as you know, we will talk to you soon. All right, take care and have a good one. Bye-bye.